Hello and welcome to the Post to Post podcast. We're filming this on a Saturday again. It's July 10th. This is season 5, episode 10. I'm Jason, that's Neil.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
I always say that.
I'm going to release this on Sunday, though.
Okay. We did not do a podcast last week.
No, we didn't. It was epic.
It was epic.
Here I am sitting in my room upstairs watching TV. In fact, I was actually watching Neil's latest video.
Oh.
And my wife comes in and says, this is like 3:10, I think, in the afternoon. How come you're not doing the podcast? I was like,
This is Sunday.
I go up, turn my computer on, there's sure enough, there's messages from Neil. And of course, my phone didn't let me know. And I was like, And then, of course, it was too late to do it by then.
Yeah, it's a little too late in the day to do it. So we just didn't.
We're doing it now.
So
awesome. So it's definitely my fault on that one. But
I have a present for you. I have two presents for you, actually.
I'm a little worried about this.
One's a little cringy, and one's like, yeah, that's okay.
All right. Which one do you give me first?
That's okay. One.
Okay.
This is for the set, actually. What doesn't have to be for the set?
Oh, it sounds heavy. How is it not heavy? That was a huge bang.
What's that sound like?
It sounds like beads like you get at Mardi Gras.
Oh, yeah, I got you beads.
Mardi Gras beads.
I found this mug.
Oh, snap.
I thought it could probably go back there.
Oh, this is 100% going for the set. Look at this.
I'm worried it might be a little bit too tall, but I think it'll fit in there somewhere.
It's going to fit there.
And then this next one, I think I already told you about.
That's why it was loud, because it was a big giant piece of glass.
And this isn't really for anything. I just don't want it anymore. And I thought that maybe you could use it somehow.
Oh, I think I know what this is because you've mentioned that before. Yes. Heck yeah.
It's just a ridiculously long 16.4 feet.
Is this the one that was like going around the top of the old apartment? Yeah. It's a giant cable of LED strips, that what you call them?
Yeah, and I did put double-sided tape in there too, because you're going to need that depending on where you put it.
I'm going to put that somewhere.
Probably in your gaming room.
Potentially.
So yeah, no podcast last weekend. This could potentially be the last podcast, but likely not. There's so much that's happening.
Yeah.
Not really right now, but from this point until the end of July, there's a lot that's happening. We're going to talk about a lot of it.
I have in my notes about kind of a crunch that's going to be happening for the last couple weeks of July. So
yeah, so we'd like to recap that probably at the end of July or near the end of July, and there's potential that the GOAT may also be here. So keep an eye out for that, and we probably will throw in a Have and a Yak either midpoint this month or August at some point or something like that. So this channel won't be completely dormant in the summertime like it was last year. Mm-hmm. We'll upload at least one video a month or one podcast a month or something.
Yeah. I want to talk about the podcast.
All right, let's talk about the podcast.
I want to talk about having the podcast with a newborn in your house.
Okay.
It's challenging.
It is a bit challenging.
It's because, like, you do the podcast last year, for example, no baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, when I'm home, I do whatever I want. Like if I want to watch 3 hockey games at once, I can do that.
Yeah.
If I got a newborn at home who's crying because he's teething / his gums hurt, I ain't watching nothing.
It's not really a controllable situation.
No, it's harder to focus. It's not harder to find time. Like, obviously I don't have as much free time as I did.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that, but it should still be fine to find the time to do whatever you got to do, but it's challenging, I guess is how I would word it. Like,
I'd say I understand, but I don't.
It's like I need to get 4 or 5 pages of podcast notes in. I'm going to do it tonight, but then tonight happens and crap hits the fan and nope, it's not getting done tonight because baby.
Sometimes crap literally hits the fan.
Sometimes the pee gets all over you too. He's been pretty good. Last couple of days, my wife's been showered a few times.
Oh no.
But he went like 2 months without doing it once.
Wow. That's very unfortunate.
And then she had like 3 in 3 days.
And when you do the podcast, you're basically saying, hey, I'm no help for 2 hours.
Okay, so that's another thing I want to talk about. I think I even had it in here. So when we did the podcast before, I live in a house with an unfinished basement. This is unfinished. We have one little set of
there's a corner here with fake walls.
Fake wall brick behind us. Like, we're literally in a corner of a room, and the rest of the room is just insulation and plastic seal around it.
Yeah.
And then just stuff everywhere. So it kind of looks like it's semi-decent on camera. If you come in here, this is kind of funny. You just ask Joey, who's been here. Or the GOAT's been here.
It's a little deceiving.
So I have like a main level above us, and then I have a top level. And usually when we do the podcast in the past, I ship the wife up to the bedroom and say, you guys stay up there for an hour and just be quiet. Don't run the water. Don't do anything. We'll let you know when we're done.
Because all the pipes run right down through.
The water pipes literally run right behind us, which is a huge issue for this corner. And I'm sure you guys have heard it in the past, some water running. And the water running is probably the thing I hate the most because I think most viewers probably don't care. Like, it's whatever. They hear it and then they forget about it.
Yeah.
I totally lose my train of thought when that water starts trickling. If I'm in the middle of a talk and I hear that, I'm like,
I completely agree.
Because I go into production mode. I'm like, this sounds like crap. What are we doing? What was I talking about? I'm going to forget.
Yeah. I
hate it. So now with the baby, I still try to ship them upstairs. Like right now, I set up our spare bedroom. I've converted into like a pseudo gaming room. I have 2 couches up there, a TV, computer.
Yeah.
So she can go up there and watch TV now because we have another TV up there. But if the baby, from now to the time we finish doing this podcast, takes a crap and she has to change his diaper, she's not gonna let him sit in his crap. So she's got to wash her hands. So if she washes her hands, we're gonna hear it right here.
Yeah, which
is something we've never had to deal with before because usually she was pretty good about it.
So just so you know, if you do hear running water, that means that somebody pooped.
Somebody pooped or somebody peed.
Yeah, and that's
because you're not gonna change a diaper and not wash your hands because that's nasty.
Yeah, that's life.
But that's just some of the things that have changed with doing the podcast here with the baby.
Exactly.
So it's like we can move it to like a different corner of the room or like that flat wall, but no. I like this corner. This corner works the best.
Yeah, like that corner over there has an electricity or
we'd have to have a flat wall.
That corner over there has 2 windows, and that's basically all our options. Yeah. So we can do a flat wall system, but yeah.
And it's funny because like one of the things we tried 2 episodes ago, our camera is literally how many feet away is that now?
Like probably at least
25 feet.
It's at least 20 feet.
Like at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. If you had a 6-foot person lay down, they're going down at least 3 times.
Yeah.
So, like, we tried to create some depth of field, and it's probably like 8 feet to that back corner right there. It looks like this wall is right behind us. This wall is super far away, people. Like I don't know how to.
That's probably 10 feet away.
The sense of scale in our video does not come through on camera at all, and we've been trying to show it, but we can't because it just looks like this is right behind us, and it's not. Like,
yeah,
I can't. There's nothing I can do other than to like bring a camera down and show you, but.
Which is funny because I think the opposite thing was said when I lived in my previous place when Joey came over. He's like, the room's so small.
Oh, yeah, they couldn't believe it. When we had that PI trip, they were like, wow, I envisioned this giant room, and it's literally just a corner with black curtains around.
Yeah, that room,
and here we're in a giant room. Like, it's in the entire of my basement. That corner to that corner is basically my basement. My garage is behind this wall. But it just looks like a small little set because, I don't know, just funny. You just can't tell.
For you audio listeners, this is also on YouTube in video format. So if you're new, we do produce this in video format on YouTube. That's why we're talking about visuals. So if you want to go check that out, you can.
So yeah, I just wanted to.
Yeah, it's.
We were talking about what's gonna happen with like before this started. We said, is this gonna be our last episode? Well, we'll try to do another one, maybe a yak, and like you said, the goat's coming. So having the goat in studio, I think a lot of people would like that.
Yep.
So we'll try to do that.
We're gonna try and make some improvements to the set as well. More things on the shelf. Obviously, they're still extremely bare.
Yeah, I want to get some lights because for a while we had like a blue and red light that shone on our old shelves before they fell.
Yeah.
I want to bring that back, so I'll order some of those off Amazon during the off season.
Yeah, lots of little upgrades that we just haven't had time for. Right now. So with the off season, we'll.
And like we've said a couple episodes before, like there's 6 active cases in New Brunswick right now.
Yeah,
there's only 6. So in the whole province we live in, 6 people have COVID. That's it.
That's pretty good.
So things are opening up.
We
got better things to do than just sit in our houses all day.
This is very true.
So like the next couple months, I'm gonna be going to the lake, doing whatever, hanging with friends again. Hopefully, this is the last thing I'm gonna be thinking about. Honestly,
yeah, I completely agree.
The break, I'm ready for it.
I agree. And did you know that as of noon yesterday in PEI, you don't have to wear a mask anymore?
I did see that.
That's amazing.
I think it was British Columbia, PEI, and someone else.
I wish New Brunswick would do it.
Yeah, we gotta get 75%, which is gonna be a while.
It's gonna be at least another.
Do you know what's epic about my work? Even when that change comes through, probably still gonna have to wear it because it's federal.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
That's not good.
Okay, before we jump into anything else, I want to talk about our Discord server / website, which nobody goes to because there's nothing on it.
Yes, that was scary.
I had a freak out email, and I have to tell people about it because I think it's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
It is.
It's completely unacceptable.
I'm cheap. I'm paying $6 a month American for it. So that's pretty cheap to actually rent a server. Like I own the server. Well, I don't own it, but I rent it. I have full access to it. I can log into it. I can do anything I want on it.
Yep.
Like I had to share a video with Neil. I literally uploaded the video to the server and he could just download it through the website. Easy.
That's how it goes.
If I wanted to host like anything on it, I could. Free reign. $6 a month, pretty good.
Pretty good.
However, I got an email. People were saying the Discord bot was down. I said, oh, because usually when like prediction system was pretty much wrapped up. There's still a couple games left, so it was important that it had it going, but it manages our like moderation duties. So everything we do like in terms of like managing the Discord server is run through Discord bot.
Yeah.
I got an email saying our engineering team is continuing to investigate a node failure that is affecting your instance. It's like, okay, this happens from now on. We're on the Chicago instance, and apparently the Chicago one's horrible because I get these kind of emails all the time.
Oh, no.
However, this is the part that got to me. It says, we have attempted extensive recovery efforts to restore your cloud server to normal operations and have determined that additional time and resources will be required with no certainty of a positive outcome.
That's not a great word.
Like,
that's not great wording.
You have this server, it's crap the bed, and we might not be able to recover it.
That's a problem. That's
like, number one, why aren't you doing your own backups of everything? Like, why
How is that not?
Why is it on me to pay you extra money to do a backup?
So you can pay extra to get
yes,
that
and I did it
backup.
for 1 month, and it was $3 extra a month. And I said, I'm not paying $3 extra a month to do a backup. Screw this crap. like this podcast channel makes just enough money right now to pay for that. It does not make enough for it if it's $3 more. So I said, screw that. I'm not doing that. And the bot used to do a backup back in the day when it was on Amazon. I showed a picture on our mod chat. I have literally like 400 backups.
Oh yes,
of the bot backing itself up. And I stopped doing that when we went to the Amazon because Amazon has the 99.9 and it's guaranteed because they back it up. These guys here, apparently they don't do anything. I figured they'd have at least something.
So are there other options that are...
No, I'm doing the
comparable in
backups
price?
now. The
Oh,
backups are back in. Screw that crap. Now, if we ever do lose it, I'll have a backup, but it will still be annoying to set everything back up because you have to install everything. You have to make sure all the dependencies are there. It's going to be a hassle, but I'm hoping that this is a one-off.
I guess it's a small price to pay for the incredible amount of work that went into everything.
I told people, I said, and I even told my wife this, like, I have over 1,000 hours in the Discord bot. Like, not even kidding. If I would have lost it, I would have quit Discord.
No, Discord's done.
Like, sorry, boys. This was a good run. Someone else can look after this. I'm done.
It's too much work.
See ya.
It starts as a passion project, and then it becomes a bit of a job, and then it becomes...
It's like... Yeah,
it gets
totally.
It gets to the point where it's almost more than a job. It's like a job you don't enjoy, and then if something goes wrong, there is no way that's coming back.
And it's like, again, when you have a baby at home, you can't even like. We how long ago was this? A couple months ago in Mod Chat, we were talking about overhauling the prediction system for next year and adding new modes.
Right. Yes.
And so we came up with a concept that we liked. I actually programmed the concept and it works. I haven't touched it since because I haven't had time.
It is what it is.
And now there's no games on, so I can't even live test it to see if it actually works.
That's true. So if we do it next season,
I'm gonna have to use
hypothetically,
I'm gonna have to use like fake data and go with it. And if there's bugs, then the first couple games might not count. Whatever.
I will say that good thing about our Discord members are they're pretty understanding of
they're pretty
kind
good
of issues and stuff.
And they're
like
pretty
that.
good to get a hold of me when there's a problem.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. It's just like, oh no, is this gonna be it?
Yeah. How quick is this gonna be?
But anyways,
fixed?
Enough of that. That's a problem for me. It's not a problem for you. But I just want to tell you that email scared the crap out of me.
That was very close to wrecking.
I was ready to be done with our Discord server. I was like, okay, with all of this time I have put into this stupid program, and it's not a stupid program. I'm very proud of it. Like, I've never made something in my life that I'm more proud of than this stupid bot.
It is amazing.
Legit. It does everything we need to do. It integrates to a website. The potential for adding onto it is there. It's super modular. I'm very happy with it. But if that thing goes away and it's not recoverable, I am done with everything.
It even has mustard facts.
It has mustard facts. ! Mustard facts.
Heck yeah. And craft dinner.
Yeah, craft dinner too. That was funny. I forgot about that.
I did too until right now, actually. I'm just reading the notes here. So you got your second dose. Did you have any side effects at all?
Yes. I had sore arm when I first got it. So I got it at probably 5 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. And then when I was ready to go to bed, I was a little sore. And the first time I had a sore arm too. And when I sleep on this shoulder because this shoulder is bad.
Yep.
So I said, I'm getting in the left arm this time because last time I couldn't sleep because it hurt too bad. So I thought she was going to jab me in the arm, and she jabbed me in the shoulder. So I got into my bad shoulder, which was not optimal, but it was still good because I got to sleep. But it was extra sore because of my bad shoulder.
Okay.
And then the next day, I felt like someone beat me up. That's what I felt like. Like I was on vacation when I got it. I was very glad I was on vacation. I was like, I wouldn't want to go. I probably could have gone to work like that, but I wouldn't have wanted to. My wife was laid out in bed. She had the sweats. She was just, that was it. She was done.
She was done.
Done.
Did she sleep a lot?
I don't know if she slept, but she was in bed like all day.
But you were fine other than that? Like the next day?
I felt like someone beat me up, but I did not have the flu. I did not have anything like that.
I was in her position.
Yes, you were.
I was fine. Okay, so I got mine at 9 a.m. and by 7 p.m., about 10 hours later, the effects started to set in. I was kind of like what happened to you. Around 7 p.m., I started to get really sore, and then by like 11:30, like my lower back was absolutely killing me, my shoulders and everything. I was sore all over, and then I slept like crap. You know when you're like really, really sick and you take like medication and you just know you're gonna have crazy dreams, or you're falling asleep, or you're trying to fall asleep, but you're almost already dreaming before you're just in this weird mode. And that's what that night was like. Like I had just crazy dreams, and I was sweating and everything, and then I woke up and I was toast. I was completely wrecked. My temperature was all over the place. Like I'd be sweating, and then 5 minutes later I'd be freezing, and then I had my actual temperature was like 103 or something like that, or sorry, 100.3, and I was exhausted. Like I just laid there all day, and
that's a good thing to happen on your first and second day of work.
Yeah, it was so I got my vaccine on my first day of work at my new job, and then the second day was that day of pain. So I did technically work until 2. And my new boss is very understanding. So she was like, I was you 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, whatever.
And that's what I said to you. I said, out of any excuses you can have, no one's going to give you crap for getting the shot. How are you going to crap on an employee when he's doing what the province is asking him to do?
Exactly. Especially when you work for the government.
Exactly.
So she was very understanding, and she actually told me to not work at noon. But I'm like, I feel okay. And I was laying in bed with the laptop, and I felt okay to continue what I was doing. But I was very close to like falling asleep. Yeah. Because I was so exhausted. And I didn't mind like sore back and everything. Like that's whatever, right? You just, if you ever done any kind of extensive exercising, you just sore the next day. That's kind of what it felt like, but a little bit worse. I can deal with that. The headache, I had a headache all day. Whatever, it's just a headache. But it was the constant temperature fluctuation. I'd be in bed and I'd be freezing, so I'd have all the blankets on me, and then literally 3 minutes later I'd be drenched in sweat. Yeah, and I'd have to take all the blankets off. That was the annoying part for me. So, but then the next day I felt, and I was probably like 98%, and now I think I'm basically 100%.
And that's how my wife was too. Same thing. Yeah, it's first day you're second day you're owned, third day you're feeling pretty good, and fourth day you're nothing ever happened.
Yeah, so it is.
I guess it shows that it's working.
That's what's supposed to happen.
I mean, your body's reacting to it, and it's creating the antibodies and stuff. So
everyone will react differently, but if you react, it just means that's a good thing. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yep. All right, so you want to get into it now?
Let's get into it.
So, hockey is done for another year, Neil.
It is. I'm kind of relieved. Playoffs get to the point where it almost feels like an obligation to continue watching, because I'm so. There hasn't really been, other than the St. Louis year against your Bruins, there hasn't really been a storyline or something that I really felt like it was entertaining. Like even though Montreal, my favorite team, made the finals, they were playing Tampa Bay.
See, that's the biggest problem is that, sure, no one picked Montreal in any of the series. Yeah. But they for sure were not beating Tampa Bay. No, like I even said on this podcast, they're going to get swept, and at best it's 5. And it was 5.
And that's exactly what happened. And I was generous and I said Tampa in 6. Yeah. And I guess, some of the games were a little bit close, but
I mean, the last game was close.
There was never a point where Tampa was completely out of the series like Montreal was.
Like people are always saying, like the Tampa, the depth of Tampa is just too strong.
It's way too strong.
It's about $18 million over the cap too strong.
Yeah. Do you think the NHL is going to do something?
Nope.
No?
In 2015, when Chicago went over the cap, there was only 2 teams that complained about it.
Tampa was
St. Louis and Tampa. And they didn't do it, so here we are. And even Montreal went over the cap this year too. They had some money on LTIR. Or something? Yeah, it was performance bonuses.
Oh, performance bonuses.
Like, you guys aren't going to do this? Sure.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So they finished the year, we'll get into this in the notes. They finished the year with some people in LTIR, and then because they were over, those bonuses will affect the cap for next year, so Montreal actually has less money to work with next year.
Wow, great.
So something to look forward to.
What about Tampa? Did they get penalized for having $18 million more?
I don't think so, because they didn't have bonuses paid out.
Epic. That's awesome.
Your money was you were over the cap with LTIR, and then additional money was paid out because of bonuses. So Montreal's situation is worse than Tampa's. Figure that one out.
Yeah, that seems totally fair. NHL, good job. But they're gonna have to. They have to fix that. Like that, they have to fix that.
There's a virtual GM meeting on Monday, I think it is, and I guarantee you it's not being brought up.
Can I ask you a question? Why does the salary cap exist?
Because the owners want 50% of the money. That's why.
So it has absolutely nothing to do with parity?
You can say parity all you want. It's the 50-50 split.
Because what's the point of having a salary cap if it doesn't matter in the playoffs?
Because the system is supposed to be fair. And
yeah.
Like when your players are actually hurt, they're supposed to be actually hurt. When they're ready to come back, they're supposed to come back.
Supposed to. Did you see all the controversy about Vasilevsky's equipment?
I did, and I didn't put that in here. People were saying he had oversized chest on.
Yeah.
I think that's bullcrap.
The NHL, especially in the finals, would almost certainly be monitoring that heavily. Yeah. So I think that's just rubbish.
I think people were just trying to find things to complain about.
And what I noticed was there was a couple of Montreal fans who were like that, but it seemed like there was a lot of fans from other teams who were critical of that.
People don't like repeat winners.
No, they don't.
And they don't like Tampa because they're over the cap too.
Yes, that was the constant argument, an annoying argument. Like they play by the rules.
Totally.
Technically, they play by the rules.
They were one of the two teams that challenged the rules.
I can't be mad at them for that.
No, they're one of the two people that said, yeah, we got to change this. And you know why they're not? Because you could vote against that and then be a GM that's in that position and need to be able to do that in the future. So they're covering their butts.
But here's what I'm saying. I don't care if there's a cap. Well, I do. I think there should be a cap in the playoffs, but I understand if 4 of your roster players get injured and you've got 2 healthy scratch guys who can come in, you're still down 2 players. Where do you get those other 2 players from? Can you call them up in the playoffs?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think you should. I think you should just, if you got
less people on your bench?
Yep. If you've got, that's the part of winning the cup. That's the grind.
Yeah, but what if the other team just targets your players and tries to injure them then?
You have that same opportunity.
That's bold.
I think they should have 3 goaltenders, and if you run out of goaltenders, then a player has to play net.
That's epic.
Yeah. Think about the amount of views that would get.
I think you are in the minority on this one.
Yep. I'm all about the entertainment factor.
Sure. I'd watch it.
Would you not?
Yes.
Okay. Montreal.
Who would Montreal put in net if they had no people?
Oh, it's probably someone big like Weber. He would just punch people.
He might be too slow, though.
Yeah, he would be real slow.
I'm trying to think who Boston would put in. I put Gregor Campbell in if he was still around. That guy knows how to block a shot.
Yeah, he does. That's a good question.
Who was the guy that saved the goal in the playoffs?
Montreal?
No, it was for a different team.
It was Polak Pelech from the Islanders.
Yeah, that's right. He'd definitely be the Islander goalie.
He definitely would. That'd be an interesting video to go through all the rosters and pick who would play net if they had to.
Who would be your emergency backup player?
I think Patrick Maroon would play net for the...
Do you think it would be mostly defensemen, or do you think that some forwards would do it?
No, I think some forwards would do it for sure. It'd have to be the right forward. Like, Patrick Maroon's a big boy. I think if he had goalie equipment on, even though he's a little slow, I think he might be okay. And he's pretty physical, so...
He'd be a good post-game interview, too. He'd make a lot of light of it.
Yeah, he would. It's an interesting conversation to have for the future.
Okay, so what do you think about the series overall?
I thought it was extremely boring. I didn't watch. So Game 2, Montreal was, I think they came back, they tied at 1-1. It was either close to the end of the second or the first. I think it was maybe the second. And that was when...
They let the late goal in?
They let the late goal in with 6 seconds left or 0.3 seconds left or whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, this is the definition of a team who knows how to win the Stanley Cup in the Tampa Bay Lightning, does not give up. Mm-hmm. But this is also the definition of a team who isn't going to win a Stanley Cup in the Montreal Canadiens. Because that, as someone who's seen every single Montreal Canadiens seasonal game this year, that is the definition of the Montreal Canadiens. Play really good for like 19 minutes and then give up in the last minute and let a goal in. Like I can't even count on 2 hands how many times that's happened to the Montreal Canadiens in the past 2 years. And that's the point where I'm like, I've got better things to do with my time.
Yeah. As soon as that goal went in, I knew the game was over.
Yeah. Same. Like it's done. And from that point on, I barely watched the rest of the series. I think it was game 5. I watched the beginning of that in Montreal because game 4.
Game 4.
Because I wanted to see the game in Montreal, whatever. And they won that game, which is great. And then went back to Tampa for game 5. Never watched it.
And then in game 3, they were down 2-0 in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, had to call timeout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Like, what? Like, you're down 2-0. 3.5 minutes in the game, you're down 2-0 in the score, and you're calling a timeout. And you're at home.
Yes. Tampa scored the first goal. I shut it off.
Really?
And then someone texted me, like, oh my God, it happened again. I'm like, what? They're like, Tampa scored again. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not even watching.
You can't handle the pressure.
I want to use my time more valuably. Yeah, my team's in the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's great, but it's not, when I know they're going to lose, it's not enjoyable.
And that's the tough part, because
it's not entertaining.
I don't think anybody, I'm sure there's some idiot out there somewhere that bet $1,000 on the Habs winning just to get that huge money. I think I read somewhere that if you bet $1,000 on Tampa to win, you made $10 or something like that. That's how low the odds were.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was just, the line was so far over that it was just ridiculous.
I just, I'm sure I'm in the minority, but I'm at the point in my life where if I've got free time and I'm going to use that free time to do something, I'm not going to put myself through hell. I'm actually going to use that time to enjoy myself. And watching my Montreal Canadiens be absolutely destroyed is not something that I enjoy. So I did something that I enjoyed with my time. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to.
It's funny because if Montreal would have won this series, it probably would have been one of the best finals, because it would be like, this team that shouldn't have been there made it. But because they got spanked and everyone thought they were going to get spanked, it was just like, it was almost like an embarrassing final.
Even if Montreal had a loss, but it had gone like 7 games, it would have been a way better series.
Yeah.
People want competitiveness.
Yeah.
They want storylines they can cheer for either way. They want,
Well, we said we don't want to sweep and we don't want to short. It's just embarrassing for Montreal, and it's embarrassing for the league when you have a final between the 8th best team and the 24th best team or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were only the 8th best team because Kucherov was on LTIR, and then bam, look what happens when he comes back.
Exactly. When you go to watch a movie in the theater, every movie's the same way. It starts out great.
Yep.
And then there's a problem, and it goes down, and then they have to, be triumphant and come back, and the movie generally ends pretty good.
Yep.
That's how movies are made. That's this basic storyline of 98% of movies. And in the hockey, that series, it ended here. There was no arc
redemption arc. Yeah.
So that's why it wasn't entertaining. People don't want to watch that other than Tampa Bay Lightning fans. There's two types of fans who enjoyed this series. Probably Maple Leafs fans, because Montreal lost, and Tampa fans.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else is like, this sucks. So
there were some people online that said that Montreal is now on their radar, like down in the States. Like, I'm going to follow Montreal. I'm looking forward to when our team plays Montreal next year.
Good.
Because they had a good playoff. They just didn't have a good final.
Yeah, and I saw some people say, well, if they had the fans in the arena, they would have won Game 3 and Game 4. They won Game 4 anyway, but
they were down 2-0 in Game 3. Like, I don't really think the fans would. It was 3.5 minutes. I don't think the fans would have affected that.
The fans aren't going to fix any deficiencies the Montreal Canadiens have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I am happy that Tampa won at home, though.
Oh, I forgot to mention that.
If you're going to win at home.
Yeah, I'm very happy that they won at home. I'll say, though, their fans weren't that excited.
It was quiet.
It is super quiet and almost awkwardly quiet.
Like, I was listening to the 31 Thoughts podcast, and that was the first time he's been in a full arena with fans, and he was like, it was crazy. And I'm like, actually, it wasn't that crazy. No. Like, it was crazy for a minute. And then when they were like, especially when they were skating around with the cup, it was dead, I thought. It was
very strange.
You bring that to Montreal, that building's rocking the entire time.
Dude, someone's getting shanked in the stands.
Oh, 100%.
And there's fights everywhere. Well, there wouldn't be fights, but you know what I'm saying. There's chaos is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that, because I actually thought it was quite quiet too.
Yeah, it was very awkwardly quiet.
It was like, yay, we won again. Now let's just watch them.
Yeah.
Like, huh? Like, come on, man. Like, you gotta. And like John Cooper said, like, this group's not gonna be the same group that's here.
Yeah, that's right.
Next year, so they were doing it for themselves. Fine, I get it. So I'm happy for them, I guess. If Tampa's back there again a third time next year.
If Tampa makes the finals, I don't care who they're playing. I'm not watching. I can't do it. I just can't.
I think they're gonna be a significantly different looking team next year.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so boring or uninteresting? You basically already
uninteresting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay, did you see Kucherov's post-game interview?
I did. I thought it was amazing, but incredibly embarrassing at the same time.
I thought it was awesome. It was cringe, and I loved every minute of it.
Like, it is so refreshing to see an actual player not give cookie cutter answers and have a personality.
Okay, so I might put a couple clips of him in the podcast. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. So if you see and he comes up, then I did, and if you don't, then I didn't. But so let me give you how this post game started. If you didn't see it, so he's sitting at the podium table thing. He's got no shirt on. He's got his hat on backwards, and he's just smiling like this. And he's got a Bud Light in his hand. And then they're like, all right, here is whatever Kucherov. And he's like,
claps for
himself and then gives like the peace sign like that.
From the Lightning, we have Nikita Kucherov.
The first question goes to Joe Smith of The Athletic. They're like, Joe Smith of The Athletic? And then he starts laughing and he goes, Joe, let's hear it. And he starts banging the table before he even lets the guy talk. So the guy laughs and is just like, whatever.
Media, please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll start with Joe Smith, The Athletic.
Joe, let's hear it.
But then he ripped Fleury for winning the Vezina.
He did.
He ripped Montreal's fans for cheering as if they won. That's how fans are supposed to cheer, by the way, speaking of winning a cup.
Exactly.
Like, that's, if you think that was too much, you wait till they actually win the cup.
Yeah.
Anyway, he ripped the fans for cheering as if they won the cup. I thought it was awesome.
I loved it. Like, as a Canadiens fan, I didn't like some of the comments, obviously, but I love the personality. Like, hockey needs more of that.
He didn't care about anything.
No, he didn't care. I think he was slightly intoxicated. Potentially.
Yeah, and that slight intoxication earned him a sponsorship. He's now sponsored by Bud Light.
Yeah, I'm even considering that he's maybe...
Like, what does that mean? Is he going to do commercials for them now? Or like?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe.
He's getting money out of it somehow. I can't imagine it's just...
They could make a commercial of that and have him reenact that whole scenario and just make it into a commercial.
That'd be super funny.
I think there's comments that he was on something else. Obviously, you can't prove that, but apparently cocaine was thrown around as a substance. Yeah. So I don't know about that. There's been rumors of him doing that for years and years and years. I don't know where those came from.
Would it surprise you?
I feel like the NHL not test for that?
Yeah, they do.
So I think it's just foolish talk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, just like Vasilevsky was wearing a giant chest.
Because there was an LA player, was it Slavovoinov or someone, who got caught for using cocaine? No. It was...
He's the one that was beating his woman, I think.
Oh, he won the cup in LA and then he did cocaine in the off season.
Oh, yes.
Not Justin Williams, but...
No.
What's his name?
I can't think of who it was. I remember hearing about it.
I forget who it was, but
yeah.
You know what I mean.
Ding.
So, they test for it, I assume.
So, this was the most watched Stanley Cup final in Sportsnet history, which kind of makes sense because they've only been doing it for, 5-6 years now?
And Sportsnet's a Canadian company.
And there's a Canadian team in the final. So, it makes sense.
First time in 10 years or whatever it's been. So, that makes sense.
So, average viewership, 3.6 million across all games. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And Game 5 had 4.1 and 15.6 million for the reach. So, basically, half of all Canadians, at least at some point, watched part of the series.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
There's like 30-some million people in Canada, isn't there?
36.5 or something.
Okay, so a little less than half. But it's still pretty good.
But I guess I would be in there a couple of times. You would be in there a couple of times. So I guess we can't really say half of Canada, but...
True.
You know what I mean?
But I don't know. I think the reach is unique visitors. Or viewers. I don't think it's per game.
Oh.
The reach is how many people experienced it.
Unique devices. So if you streamed it and then watched it on TV, you'd be in there twice, which I am definitely a part of. I am also a part of that, yes.
Yeah.
I streamed it on my phone, my iPad, and on my TV.
So did I. So did I. And then I watched it on TV. And sometimes I had it going on upstairs in my room, and then I come down to make a baby bottle and have it on the kitchen down there, and then I go back up and I leave this TV on, so I was double dipping. So Rogers Sportsnet, you're welcome.
You're padding the stats.
Yeah. Earning you those dollars for your advertising. So a little bit of Montreal talk. How about that?
Let's do it.
So Mark Bergevin said that, okay, I already said this. Team went over the cap due to performance bonuses. So the upper limit for next season will be reduced.
Do we know how much?
No. And people on Reddit were saying, Cap Friendly, what's the deal here? Cap Friendly responded to them.
Oh, snap.
He said, Montreal finished the season remaining cap compliant through LTIR use, which means any bonuses earned will indeed result in an overage next season. And they plan to show those values for each team in the coming weeks because I guess it's really hard to calculate.
Yeah, I guess it probably would be. There's
a lot to look at.
It's probably hard to calculate
because
for one team.
Yeah, it's not just the bonus itself. It's how much of the bonus affects the cap next time. So it's not like you can just look at the numbers and add them up. So they have to crunch the numbers. It's going to take a couple weeks.
Jeez.
So hopefully it's not a lot. You don't want a flat cap and then go down. Like our cap next year is $79 million.
Yeah,
I have $2 million less to work with.
And they would have to know that number pretty soon.
I don't imagine they pay $2 million in bonuses though. I imagine it's less than $1 million.
No, probably.
I imagine the bonuses are like $100,000, $200,000, something like that. I don't even know who got them. Like I think Cole Caulfield got one.
Yes, he probably would have because he's on
Yeah, it's based on games played and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's stuff like that.
They would have to know pretty soon these numbers because free agency is on the 28th or something like that. So like the teams probably already know internally. They probably already crunched the numbers themselves.
28th, yeah.
But they need to make decisions.
So Mark Bergevin also said during his end of season media availability that he has 1 year left on his contract and that he intends to honor it, which is,
Oh, okay.
I was like, what? Like, you're under contract. Of course you're going to honor it.
Yeah.
But I guess there was rumors of him maybe quitting because it's taking a toll.
Oh.
He said, the past 16 months were, quote, tough on me. Mentally, it was very difficult.
Oh.
So he's probably going to do 1 more year, and that'll be it, regardless of whether Molson wants to keep him around or not.
Okay, I like that.
So
I'm down for that. He's had his time to.
You've been down for that for a few years.
The Montreal Canadiens didn't necessarily get to the finals because of his incredible moves. He did make some really good ones this offseason.
Yep.
Anderson, Toffoli.
His moves
yada, yada.
helped in the playoffs. They're just lucky that Vancouver couldn't come back and catch them.
And they're lucky that Carey Price played amazing in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of luck that went into Montreal's final run.
Yep.
I don't think Mark Bergevin gets 100% of the credit.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
He gets some.
He gets some. Absolutely, he gets
But
some.
like Corey Perry and all that, like he made some good trades.
He's been there 8 years or 9 years or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
He had a 5-year plan. We're on going into year 9.
Yeah. But in year 9, he got him there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how, I guess.
I guess.
Even though I wouldn't expect that same plan to work next year. I hope they make some changes. But speaking of Corey Perry, he said he intends to play next year. And he would, quote, love to come back to Montreal or come back to experience Montreal for what it's really like being in Montreal.
Corey Perry is not a part of Montreal Canadiens next year because Montreal does not want to sign him.
Yep.
There will not be a point in my life where I've been more mad at the Montreal Canadiens.
You will probably make a video about it.
I will 100% make a video. I will make 8
That
videos
is a
about
threat
it.
to the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
He will make a video if you do not re-sign Corey Perry.
Corey Perry is the GOAT.
And all the players love him.
Yeah, Corey Perry's amazing.
Yep.
Like, he needs to be on the Montreal Canadiens. He has to retire there.
Joel Armia.
Joel Armia.
He says he has not spoken to his agent about contract talks as a pending UFA. He wants to go home to Finland, rest a bit, and think about his future. Quote, I don't want to close any doors.
Okay.
Might be done, might not. Don't know.
That's a shame. He's one of my favorite players on the team, but he's definitely not the best player on the team and not even close to it and extremely undisciplined sometimes. So if he wants to walk, I'm probably okay with that. No offense to Joel Armia.
Interim head coach Dominic Ducharme is apparently in discussions right now to remove the interim tag.
Yay.
So
excited for that.
I mean, he speaks French. He's probably not going anywhere.
No, he's not going anywhere. I'd like to see one official normal year from him before I give my final decision on whether he should be the coach or not.
Yeah, because, I mean, technically they didn't do great this regular season.
He was thrown in halfway through.
And the Montreal, their division is going to be so hard next year.
Yeah. it's like, going to be real bad.
Like, I'm not looking forward to that division next year.
Yeah, you're going back into the division too.
You're right. And then hours after, you see this? Hours after losing the cup, Brendan Gallagher, who went on TikTok and said he would have been robbed.
He released that information on TikTok?
Yep. It was just a picture of him going like this.
That's all he did?
And it had text over it.
That he was robbed?
Saying, got home, robbed.
Oh, his house was robbed?
His house was robbed.
Dang.
Yep.
It
was pretty weird because he didn't say anything. He just had text over top of it explaining it. And he's just like,
I wonder if he's going to give an update.
I don't know.
He probably has some valuable stuff in his house. And I'm not talking about TVs and stuff. I'm talking about like souvenirs and.
Was it a fan mad that they lost? They robbed their house, or is this happened to be a random robbing?
No, there's no. You lose in the finals. Come on, that's a fan.
Man, you guys lost. I'm gonna rob your house.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
How are you a $1 million hockey player and you don't have like security in your house?
I'm sure he probably lives in a gated community or something, wouldn't he?
How do you rob a gated community?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't live in a gated community. I don't know.
He's got to live in like a posh neighborhood.
You'd think.
I assume he has a house. I assume he's not like clubbing downtown in a big skyrise condo. Like some of the young players do that, but I'm usually when you're around, he's been in Montreal a long time now. I imagine he's got a house.
He would probably have, I think he has a dog. See, I would assume he would have some kind of sitter or.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Tampa.
Oh yeah. So we already talked about they're going to be changing next year, obviously. If you're $18 million of the cap, you have to change something.
Yeah, there's a lot of tough decisions that are going to be made in Tampa next year. But I think regardless of what happens, they're still going to be a competitive team.
Yep. Their farm system is, I have in my notes that it's one of the, if not the best farm systems in the league. And they play exactly in their system in the farm as they do in the NHL. So when they call players up, they fit right in immediately.
Yeah, like they've got that system down.
So, I mean, yes. And let's say they get rid of 2 really good players. They're bringing up 2 of their best from the farm system. It's not going to be a 1-to-1 match, but if you get 75, 80% of that,
exactly.
You're going back to the finals
again.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So
it's a good time to be a Tampa fan. I will give you guys that.
I'm not a Tampa fan, but I give them credit where credit is due. They are an incredible team systematically throughout their entire franchise, down within to the AHL. Their development, their drafting, everything. Mm-hmm. They do a fantastic job. And the cups that they've won in the past 2 years, regardless of COVID, they deserve them.
So I don't know anything about football, and I don't think you do either.
I know very little about football.
Our friend Mitch asked me, is Tampa Bay going to win 2 series in both sports in a row? Because Tampa won the cup.
And the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers won. Yeah. Tampa won again. Brady's going back. They're probably going to have a stacked team again. Can you imagine if Tampa Bay wins 4 championships in 2 years?
Didn't they do something in a different sport as well?
I don't know. And they won 2 cups in like 9 months.
That's true.
Because it was condensed, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. That's weird.
Like that's the reason why you expect them not to win, because number one, you're going long and you're having a less rest period than the rest of the teams. Yeah. And then you're going long again. Like 9 months, you won 2 cups. That record will never be broken.
No.
Shortest time between cups. You'll never break that record.
No, and there was a player, I can't remember what team it was on. It was the first player to score a goal in July in the NHL.
That's cool.
I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been a Tampa player.
There's probably a bunch of random stats that have happened now because of these 2 years that will never happen again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about, on the opening of the podcast, about all this mad dash end of July. And there's a lot of stuff, so I'm going to go over real quick.
Okay.
So the protected lists for the expansion draft are due next Saturday on the 17th. So all the players you're protecting, that has to be in a week.
Yeah.
So
you can speculate all you want. We'll know.
In 1 week, you're going to know who's not covered. The Seattle Kraken will pick their players 4 days later on the 21st of July.
Heck yeah, that's going to be fun.
That's a good date to have. Mark that on your calendar, July 21st. NHL draft, 23rd and 24th. Free agency, 28th.
Yep.
And then right now, the player buyout windows are open. Those close on the 27th. So we're going to see some buyouts. I think if we see any buyouts, it's going to be after the Seattle draft. Like they're going to pick their players and then they're going to buy.
They're going to wait. Yeah, because they don't want to make
anyone who buys out early, not smart.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no reason to buy. If the deadline is after, just wait.
That's kind of intense. So you have basically a 6-day window to decide, okay, we're going to pay this guy and get him off our books.
Yeah, that's a huge decision.
It's super
That
huge.
changes someone's life.
Oh, yeah.
That's a life-changing decision. So
I would love to be bought out.
What does that even mean?
Let's say you're making $4 million playing for Montreal.
Yeah.
You don't like it there anymore, and you're not really that good anymore. And maybe you're not trying hard anymore. Let's say you have 4 more years on your contract. So you're owed $16 million. They say, we're going to buy you out. We're done with you. So you're like, all right, I'll take it. So you leave. You're going to go home, and over the next X amount of years, you're going to be paid $16 million.
Well, I can't play for another team?
You can play for another team. You can double dip.
But you did say that I sucked, so maybe I don't.
But because there's always people looking for reclamation projects.
Okay.
This guy wasn't in a happy place. We can bring him here, adjust him to our system. We'll offer him $2 million contract. So now you're making $6 million a year instead of $4.
All right.
I'd love to be bought out.
I'm down for that.
Heck yeah. It's like people who work for NB Power in this province.
Oh,
they retire.
Geez.
They get a huge pension. They go back to work as a contractor and double dip.
Yep. It's unbelievable. Oh, that reminds me though. If you think about coaches being fired and new coaches coming in, with St. Louis, they did it and they went on and won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
I think, who was the other team? I think Pittsburgh also did that in 2009, I believe it was, or maybe 2015 or 16. One of those years, they fired their coach. Might have been 2016. They fired their coach halfway through the season and then went on to win the Stanley Cup. Montreal fired their coach this year halfway through. Didn't win the Stanley Cup, but still went to the finals.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is that any team that fires their coach halfway through the season, look out.
So Ducharme, you're done.
You're done.
Halfway through next year. Okay, so there's been a couple 8-year deal signings.
Yes, there have, actually.
And people were saying, there's not going to be no 8 years anymore. Like, people aren't going to do that anymore. But with the flat cap, I think that's what teams are doing. They're saying, listen, we can't have your $8 million cap hit. Can't do it. but we'll give you a $6 million cap hit, but we'll add a couple years to it so that you're getting the same amount of money over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So for the players, it kind of sucks because in theory, before they could have made that money and then signed another contract after. But at least this way, they're still getting their guaranteed $40+ million.
That's a lot of security, not just to play on the team, but you got to think of their families as well.
Yes.
I want to raise a kid here. That's 8 years of the kid's life. If the kid's 5 and they're there for 8 years, and then now they're 13. Now they're a teenager.
They don't have to
They don't have to
relocation. There's no risk on themselves.
Exactly.
Right? I don't have to worry about getting injured in 3 years or whatever. This is guaranteed money no matter what.
It's basically a stress-free, not completely stress-free, obviously, but you know what I mean. It's a lot of security. And when you work in an industry where you could be at a new place every year.
Totally.
That's a pretty interesting situation. So Eriksson Ek signed an 8-year deal, $42 million, and that works out to be $5.25 million per year on the cap hit. And he was previously paid $1.48 million per year, which is a significant raise.
Yeah, Minnesota wants him.
Yeah, they do. And then the Nuge.
The Nuge takes a downgrade.
He $41 million, which works out to be $5.125 million per year. Previous contract was $6 million average. So that's basically says, hey, I want to play with McDavid.
Yeah.
And McDavid took all the money, so I guess I got to take less.
Yeah.
And
I already said the last point, so it's just talking about how teams are going for.
Josh Richards. You know who this is? Do you see this?
No, we have to talk about this. I want to talk about this last week, but obviously...
Yeah, I had this in here for last week, but didn't happen. So you know who he is, right?
This is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in my life that the NHL have done.
It's real stupid. So for you guys who don't know, Josh Richards is a TikTok star. He's 19, and he is just signed on by the NHL as their youth ambassador. So a little bit of background. He's from Toronto. He grew up a Maple Leafs fan. He has 40 million followers on social media.
Why?
He is an F-boy. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Why does he have 40 million?
I don't know. I don't understand the younger generation.
Are
so
70% of his viewers female?
Probably.
Because other than that, I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand.
He's got one of the... I gotta not say this. I can't bash this kid.
But here's the thing.
Who am I to bash this kid?
He's 19, okay? So he's young. Obviously, he's a youth.
Yeah.
He has started his own production company funded by the financial success of his TikToks and social media, which that's actually kind of impressive. Mm-hmm. So other than his TikToks, which he comes across as a total douchebag, in some of his interviews, just as him as a person, he seems okay, like a normal-ish person.
So is he playing a character on TikTok?
I would say a little bit. He's trying to be this cool...
If he is how he is on TikTok...
Yeah, I agree. But did you see what he said about the Montreal Canadiens?
Yes.
So he's wearing a Tampa jersey. This was, I think, before the series even started. And at the end of it, he said, F the Habs. This was 2 days after he was signed on by the NHL. Yeah. He's supposed to be a youth ambassador for the NHL. And he's out there...
bashing a team that's going to the finals eventually.
Yeah, and you think that is good PR? They think that's good marketing?
How is him walking into arena lip-singing, dancing, and then showing off an empty crowd...
It's so stupid. I can do that.
Look at me lip sing dance all over the place.
Well, I don't understand why he's cool.
That's what I don't get.
Why is he cool? He dances and he looks
I can think of so many YouTubers and people that would be a way better pick than
Absolutely. This. Yeah.
Elevate them to a new position. Give them a hit on the NHL YouTube channel. I don't know.
I think it's important that they have youth ambassadors and stuff.
The only reason they're going to this guy is because they're going to a place that has an instant audience.
Yeah.
This is why companies buy other companies. They're going for the target audience that company already has.
Exactly.
Look at Discord. Discord doesn't make any money, but they have how many million people use Discord now?
Yes.
Microsoft wanted to pay billions of dollars to buy them. They're not worth anything, but they want access to the viewership that they already have.
Exactly.
And that's what the NHL is doing here.
Yep. They were trying to create a new customer base or carry over his customer base to try and...
I shouldn't get mad over this.
It's so stupid.
I think it was a...
I understand the decision from a marketing standpoint, though.
It's a flop.
But from a brand perspective, absolutely unacceptable.
The NHL is all about storied traditions and guys doing the right thing and wearing suits and ties and it's completely different than most of the other sports.
Yes.
And then you go to that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Douchebag walking around with a shirt that's four sizes too big for him.
If we had Gary Bettman in here, I'd ask him about it.
I would too.
What is your opinions on this guy? Well, you think we're trying to reach a new market here and, the the marketing analysis says that based on these projections and these tracks that this guy is going to be a very important part for our game going forward. And like, that's what it would basically be.
That was an excellent physical impression.
I got a headache now. I don't know how he does that.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm disappointed in it. Sure, I agree with it on paper. I see, like, if you weren't a marketing guy and you didn't know who this kid was and you were showing a piece of paper that says, we want to work with this guy who has a $40 million base.
Yeah.
And you read the paper stuff about him without actually looking at him. Sure, that's a great idea.
Yes, I agree.
But then you look at the guy and you're like, okay. And the very first thing he does is that.
He's just not good for the brand. Like, that's great that he's successful and he does what he does. And he's
the first thing he does is he bashes the team. And he swears.
Yeah.
Like a youth ambassador, and he's dropping F-bombs.
I'm not offended by swearing. I don't think you are either.
No, but that's not what you want your kids watching.
That is not brand management.
No.
That is an embarrassment. So, anyways, moving on.
Coyotes name a new head coach.
Yeah, they do.
Andre Tourigny.
Yes, and I added just a slight thing here to the notes. So during the press conference announcement, they had him hold up a Kachina jersey.
Oh, what's a Kachina jersey?
Currently, technically an alternate, but they did use it as their primaries for their home jerseys this year. But the other one still existed, and they did wear that one as well, which was the previous home jersey or primary home jersey. So this almost guarantees that there's going to be the Kachina as the home jersey for next year. Now, they've already technically announced that to their season ticket holders, that there will be new home and away jerseys next year for the Arizona Coyotes. But the fact that he held up a Kachina jersey is likely a good indication that that's going to be the home jersey, if not a variation of that. I don't know if they're going to do any tweaks, but that almost certainly guarantees that the away jersey is going to be a white Kachina jersey, and your boy Neil's excited.
I was just going to say, you're bouncing off your chair over there.
I'm very excited. A little background on him. He coached in Ottawa. He coached in Ottawa in the entire Ontario Hockey League, the OHL, for the past 4 seasons. As a 2-time OHL Coach of the Year, 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 2020. He was an assistant coach at the 2021 IIHF World Championship, where he helped Canada win the tournament and coached Canada to a second place at the 2021 IIHF World Junior Championship. Mm-hmm. So he's pretty credited.
Yep.
Yeah. So good on him. Mm-hmm. Hope he does well.
What do you think about these Duncan Keith to Edmonton? I'd say they're rumors, but Elliot Friedman's talked about it 3 times now. They're more. And he says they've been working on it for 2 weeks, and both sides are getting to the point of saying, "Are we going to do this or not?" Because I guess there's been some ask by Edmonton for Chicago, and they have refused because they want additional pieces or young pieces, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah. I don't remember what his contract's like.
I don't think it's bad. He's 38 years old now, I think.
Like, Chicago's probably going to have to retain salary. But what kind of value does he bring the Edmonton Oilers other than leadership and experience?
It's Edmonton that's wanting him. That leadership is very valuable to McDavid and a lot of the players on this team, but he's still a good player, but he's not Duncan Keith of vintage.
No, he's not, and that's not his fault. He's an old goat.
Yeah, and when I heard people saying, and obviously the leadership aspect has a big part of it, because I heard even Seattle was in on it, and there was rumors that Chicago was thinking of getting rid of him to try to get Hamilton, and it always makes me wonder, like, if you're one of these teams and you hear that, you know, this team here is trying to trade with you so they can get something better. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you just skip the middle and go to try to get the thing that's better anyway?
Yeah.
So Duncan Keith obviously cheaper than what Hamilton will be, and you get that leadership factor. And I could see it maybe for Seattle. You're going to have who knows what you're going to have.
Who knows the mix up. But I think it's important. I think it is important for every team to have one of those guys on their roster, but it's got to be the right guy. Like, are you going to choose a Corey Perry or going to choose an Eric Stahl? Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Corey Perry because he can contribute and lead.
Yep.
I ain't taking Eric Stahl because, he might be able to lead. He might be a great guy, but he sucks on the ice.
Yeah.
Duncan Keith, what are you going to get? Is he going to be the Corey Perry or is he going to be the Eric Stahl? He's probably going to be the Eric Stahl. So if I'm in charge, I'm likely not going after Keith. Maybe I'll take someone a little less talented from before, but could still provide some leadership. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll see. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he'll fit in nicely there. So I don't know.
Speaking of Seattle, they're going to play their very first game against the Vancouver Canucks. Preseason game, September 26th.
Yeah.
In Spokane.
Spokane.
Spokane?
Spokane.
Oh, I thought it was Spokane.
No, it's Spokane.
I'm glad you're here to correct me.
Wonderful spot. But did you hear the controversy? The drama?
Oh, snap. I did not.
Oh, season ticket holders pissed.
Oh, people were talking about this on Discord.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. I was scrolling through, like there was Mark and some people talking about it, and I didn't understand the conversation. Something about they thought that they should have refunds or something. Like,
well, I think they were guaranteed a preseason game.
And they
that
didn't
was
get
part
it.
of their thing. And then now they're not getting it because they're not playing in the KeyBank Center. Or not the KeyBank Center. That's in Buffalo. I don't know what it's called. Their new arena. Whatever
It's called Climate Pledge
Climate
Arena.
Pledge, yeah.
It's not ready yet. They're just putting the finishing touches on.
So I can understand how, season ticket holders would be a little upset.
How do you give them season tickets to a place that you don't necessarily run, though?
What do you mean?
So are people saying that they should have had tickets to Spokane?
No, like they were guaranteed preseason games in that arena.
Oh,
now they're not even happening.
I understand.
So,
and they're offering them credits or something like that.
I don't know if that was communicated before or after because of the backlash. But if I'm a season ticket holder, I'm probably buying season tickets knowing that I'm going to see some preseason games as well, and I'm pretty excited about that because that's the first game this franchise ever plays. Doesn't matter if it's a seasonal game.
Yes, that's a big deal.
Preseason,
No.
I want to see it. I'm going to be there. This is a huge deal, and now you're telling me I can't be there.
You're
going to
100%
tell me I
right.
got to go to Spokane.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
So I at first I was like, why are these people upset?
That's what I was thinking.
Ridiculous.
I'm glad you said that.
And now I'm like, man, I'm on board.
Yep.
So that's
and
all.
I mean, giving credits is kind of weird because, like, what do you use those credits towards? Oh, a future season ticket. So if you go and you don't like it, those credits don't mean anything because you're not going back. And how much credits are you really going to get for a couple preseason games?
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know.
Because how many preseason games do people have?
Some teams have like 7.
Okay, so
eight
let's
at
just
the
say it's between 6 and 8. So at most you're having 4 games at home, maybe 3.
Yeah.
How much are those 3 preseason games worth? A couple $100 each? Oh, you're getting a credit of $600.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, big whoop. Thank you for spending your X amount of thousands of dollars with us. We'll give you $500 credit.
I mean, it's not that far away, realistically. Make a trip out of it.
But maybe they can't get
tickets. But they should be guaranteed tickets.
Which it doesn't sound like they are.
Doesn't sound like they are, so
I'm with you.
Comes back.
All right, we're going to finish off. There's been some drama
I don't know
Chicago.
I don't know anything about this, so I'm glad you put it in here.
I'm glad that we're doing this today because a lot of this stuff just came out yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so timing,
maybe that's
who
why I
knows?
didn't know.
Maybe by the time this podcast comes out tomorrow, there's been stuff said today because we're doing this on a Saturday again as a reminder. So there's 2 lawsuits that we know of right now, right?
Yep.
So there is the player from 2010 and there is the kid.
Right, yes.
So they are, and the reason why the kid is going against Chicago is because if they would have dealt with this the first time, he would have not done it to him.
Exactly.
So Chicago this is ugly. Chicago looks so bad. Like, we thought it was bad before. They look incredibly bad.
Not good.
It's tough. If you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan, you're like, I don't know. It's just tough. So anyway, the team has filed 2 motions to dismiss both of the lawsuits. Like,
that's interesting.
They're taking it to a judge saying, nope.
That's an interesting first decision.
We want you to dismiss these.
Based on what?
Okay. So I'm going to go by what it is. So we don't technically know who the player is who has filed. So he is John Doe 1. That's his name.
Okay.
So on all the legal documents, he's John Doe 1. So John Doe alleges that in 2010, the former video coach Bradley Aldrich sent inappropriate text message. I put self-pleasured himself because the correct word, I'm not going to say that on a podcast.
Yes,
you guys are with me. And then threatened him physically, financially, and emotionally if the plaintiff did not engage in sexual activity with him.
Bro, he's a hockey player.
Yep. John Doe also alleges that the Hawks staff, including mental skills coach James Gary, helped suppress the complaint in part by convincing the player that he was at fault for the encounters.
Wow, there's another name.
So that's what's in the lawsuit. So here's where it looks real bad. Now, let's talk about 2 different things. A moral obligation and a legal obligation.
Okay.
Which one do you think the Blackhawks are going with? They're going over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Blackhawks are arguing that the sexual harassment claims the former player, John Doe 1, that he made, they fall under other legal remedies that he didn't exhaust and that the clock has run out on the statute of limitations.
Wow. So they're not even... Wow.
I want to read... I put the actual... Like, you can actually tell this is lawyer text because I copied it right from the document. It's like Times New Roman. Who the frig uses Times New Roman today? Lawyers do.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. This is the Blackhawks. So if you're a fan of the Blackhawks, this is what your team is saying right now. The prior alleged sexual assault referenced in plaintiff's complaint involves an adult professional hockey player in Chicago 2010. Unlike in the case involving sexual assault of a minor at a school, there were no reporting obligations for the Chicago Blackhawks hockey team involving an alleged sexual assault of an adult employee. So they are saying we are not legally required to report that to police. Morally, probably should. Legally, don't have to. And legally, they don't have to.
What about the NHL? Do they have to report that to the NHL?
I don't know.
So they're basically saying they didn't break any law.
They're saying they didn't break the law.
Okay.
In fact, this is continuing their quote, the three categories of individuals who are protected by mandatory reporting requirements under Illinois law are minors under the age of 18, adults between 18 and 59 who have disabilities, and adults over the age of 60 who reside in a care facility. So they're basically saying, if you work for an employer and you get sexually assaulted at work, doesn't matter who you are, anywhere, you, me, anyone, we're not legally required to report that, so we didn't.
But if we were disabled,
yes,
they'd have to report it. Wow.
The adult hockey player referenced in plaintiff's complaint does not fall within any of these categories, or these three categories. As such, it cannot be alleged that the Chicago Blackhawks hockey team had a statutory duty to report allegations of ultras harassing an adult hockey player to a government entity. How bad does that make them look?
That makes them look pretty bad. Like, really bad.
And then they had another one against the high school kid.
Yes.
The motion against the high school student states that under Illinois law, they have no duty to protect an individual from the criminal acts of a third party, given they did not know the high school student and no longer employed Aldrich at the time.
Like, I'm not laughing at this. Obviously, this is not a laughable conversation or situation, but it's just...
The motion also argues the assaulted student provides no evidence of the Blackhawks providing Aldrich a positive reference to his high school specifically, only to future employers in general. So in his lawsuit, they said that the Chicago gave the school a positive reference for this guy, even though they knew he sexually assaulted one of their team members.
Right.
So he put that in his plaintiff.
Yes.
And they're saying, we didn't give the school a positive reference. We just gave a general reference to everybody.
Everybody. Which is the school, though.
Yes, like, but it's not. It wasn't specifically the school.
Oh, my
because
God.
that's what the plaintiff charged was.
What a bunch of legal
They
mumbo
look
jumbo.
so bad here.
I can't even believe it. That's very frustrating.
And that's where it comes to the legal morality, or the legal thing and the morality thing. Like, morally, they should have reported it. Morally, they should have not referenced this guy. When they knew this happened to this guy, they should have been done with him.
So how's the judge going to deal with this? Is there any kind of subjectivity?
It's going to get thrown out. 100%. Chicago's walking away with this hands-free. There's no doubt about it.
Can they...
That's why you have a good legal team.
I guess, yeah.
And I guarantee you, when this happened, they went to the legal team and said, what are our obligations here? And that's what they found out.
Yeah, probably. There's going to be a documentary about this.
So yesterday, WBEZ Chicago reported that the Miami University in Ohio is for the first time publicly, I don't know why I put forming, but I don't know what that's supposed to mean. They came out and said that there has been, confirming. I don't know why it says forming. It's supposed to be confirming.
Okay.
They're publicly confirming that there were 2 sexual assault claims involving this former coach 5 months after leaving Illinois. So you've got the high school kid, you've got the player, and now you have 2 people at the university.
So they could also file lawsuits.
Yes.
But they may be able to word them differently.
The only thing they're going to get away with is maybe going after him. They're all trying to say, basically, Chicago, you should have done something about this.
Yeah.
And legally, they didn't have to, so their hands are clean.
I understand that, I guess, from a business perspective. Like,
why would you recommend a guy
that
sexually assaulted one of your players?
Regardless if they get away with it or not, it makes them look so bad.
It is ridiculous.
So,
it looks...
Are there any lawsuits against him personally?
I think he's in jail, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think the high school student... Yes, because he was convicted. If you're convicted, that means you lost, right?
Yes.
Okay, he was convicted on the high school.
What was he sentenced?
I don't know. I didn't read it. But I know it said that he was convicted with the high school kid.
I got to say something. I don't care where he is. I hope that someone has or will punch him in the face.
I hope he drops the soap.
Yeah. Gets it in the butt.
Can we say that?
Are we
threatening people? We're probably more legally responsible for something than Chicago is here now.
Yeah, probably.
So anyway, I didn't want to talk about that, but I had to. It looks so bad.
I wonder how long this is going to linger on, because legal stuff just drags and drags and drags. Are we going to be talking about this in a year from now?
I think the case is going to get either dismissed or not, and that's going to happen soon. Because right now
and this is an Illinois lawsuit.
Yes. So the team is going to the judge with these two cases against them and saying, we want you to dismiss these cases because there are no legal bounds for which these charges can be placed on us.
I don't know how the U.S. legal system works, but are there federal lawsuits that they can submit?
I don't think so.
Trump?
I don't think so.
Not that I want to use that word, but Trump...
You're fake news. No, I don't think so. I think this is it.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. All right. Anyway, yeah, if you... I think Stan Bowman needs to be fired.
I think there needs to be an
investigation. Gary Bettman. Oh, there is an investigation. The team is putting on an investigation.
I think there needs to be...
And the team member, John Doe, says doesn't want anything to do with it because it's all for show.
I think there needs to be a documentary so I can watch it.
There needs to be an independent documentary.
An independent documentary as a Netflix original.
W5CTV. Get him in there.
Yes.
Or ESPN, whatever, behind... I guess ESPN might need to play good with the NHL now that they're a thing. NBC might need to get on it. I don't know.
NBC just for some retaliation. Yeah.
It needs to be somebody that's not partnered with them.
Yeah, I don't care who does it. I want the truth to be out there.
I think if anybody does it, it will be TSN because TSN's got a couple guys working on it. That Rick Westhead, he's a TSN guy.
They're also a Canadian company.
But they have nothing to do. They have a small part. They cover Leafs games and a couple regional Ottawa games, but they don't have the big contract like Sportsnet does. I don't expect... And even on... Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts, the blog, this was the last one for the season because he's done now.
Yeah.
And his 31 point was that he hopes that something comes of this.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
Something like legally or something from within the organization?
He said he hopes it's resolved and that something happens. And because there's been other cases like this where the case has been closed privately and the details have never come out. And other teams at that time have said this is bullcrap that this is done privately. The public deserves to know what happened here.
Yeah, I agree with that. The public deserves to know what happened.
If this judge throws these cases out, that's it. It's over. But I still think that screw the team's investigation. Why is the team running an investigation when it's the team that should be under investigation?
Yeah. Someone needs to investigate the team. That's not the team.
It needs to be... the only one that could really do it is, I guess, the league, which kind of has a vested interest of not making them look real bad. But I think they're also making the league look bad by this happening.
Yeah, that's how it opens a Pandora's box if the NHL does any kind of
but they have
open investigation.
It has to. Yeah, I don't know.
They can do it behind closed doors.
This is tough, and
I don't care how it happens. I just want the truth, and I want people who made the mistakes to pay for it. I don't care if it's legally.
I think they're basically admitting the truth. They're just saying that legally we weren't required to do anything.
Yeah. They're like, we followed
it sounds like, yep, this was brought to us. We ran it through our lawyers and weren't required to do anything, so we didn't.
Yeah.
And then for some reason when the guy left the team, we gave him a glowing recommendation. And then he's assaulted 3 people since then.
At least that we know of.
That we know of,
yeah. So
that's all we got.
Very unfortunate. All right. Want to know what's ironic? If you guys are watching this
is
on YouTube,
super ironic.
The little Stanley Cup here that's on the desk, if I turn it around, there's actually a Chicago Blackhawks logo on that. So, interesting timing. All right. Well, that is the last podcast for a while. The next podcast will likely be at the end of this month, like we said at the beginning, with potentially the GOAT if he has time to film when he gets here. He should be here for like 5 days, I think. So who knows? But we'll come back at you regardless at the end of the month for a chit chat. Talk about the Seattle stuff. Talk about the update on maybe this Chicago thing and trades and free agency signings and all kinds of stuff. And I'm still making videos over on the production channel, basically on a daily basis. So I'd love to have you over there if you're not aware of my channel. It's called Post Productions. And yeah, that wraps it up for now. Anything else to say? You're laughing.
No, you're just like, and yeah.
That's what I always do because I hate outros.
Outros are the worst.
All right, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk to you real soon. Please hit the subscribe button down below if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're on iTunes, leave us a review. Adios.
How am I going to do that as an outro? I'm leaving this in.
Epic.
Thank you for watching, people. See you later.